Testing. Evening, everybody. Welcome back. Oh, it cost my mic test there. It caught it. Which is weird because the Elgato said I wasn't live yet. Oh well. Probably in a more candid moment. Okay. Well, let's see who's in the Discord chat who I can bring in. Didn't have time to do it beforehand because I was wrestling with KDP, trying to get the Combat Frame Exceed RPG all ready to go, and gosh, as usual, Amazon is fighting me every inch of the way. But I think I'm on the cusp of success. We just sign into Discord. Tennessee Catholic Lancer left me a message. Okay, and luckily he is in Discord. Very good. I'm just going to get my settings where I need them. Okay. That should do the trick. It's reading my mic. I heard we might not have some echo this time. How is everybody? Well, I'm getting there. Go ahead and keep talking. I want to make sure you're coming through on YouTube. I think you are. Outstanding.
I opened up the pump house. Thank goodness I didn't actually like cavitate a pump or set the motor on fire or something, but
yeah.
The actual pump has been spinning angrily for a couple hours, which then melted the threading on the PVC so that even once I reprimed the pump, I now had air leak and was now getting air in my line. So I had to go to Lowe's, get the pieces to repair that.
Yeah, the game audio is a bit high, but I cannot adjust it.
And now the well is once again functioning as
there we go.
it would have if I had to check the prime before.
Yeah, that feature just seems to kick in at random.
So for all those listening in, always check your well pump prime after a long period of inactivity.
Okay, I think we're about good to go.
So that's been my day.
Sounds like a fun day.
The one upside of going to Lowe's is that there's a pizza place right next to it.
Are they good?
I see.
They are. I forgot they also had heroes there, so I didn't get a hero, but some very good pizza.
Well, good. Yeah, there was a place
Go ahead. best pizza I've ever had, I believe, was at Ozone's in Pensacola, Florida, which was built in part of this building that probably used to be like, I don't know, a university or something. It was a nice old red brick building, and Ozone Pizza was in, I guess, kind of a basement section of it, so it had that cool older building feel to it, and delicious pizza.
Yeah, I was gonna say that there used to be a place here in town called Villasino's. Pretty sure it was a national chain, but they had pretty good pizza, but they had awesome grinders. Like their Chicago steak was my favorite cheesesteak of all time, but they closed, unfortunately. Well, okay. Why don't we introduce ourselves? As always, I'm Brian, and with me tonight we have an exciting and learned panel of... Just jump in.
Ardenon Studios.
Martel.
Catholic Lancer, Weld Repairs.
That's gonna be your new title. And I have a feeling it's gonna be important if society keeps heading the way it is. Which it will. But anyway, let's play some games. So last time we played out the siege of Fort Seekton, and Tata died, and it exploded. So I believe we have now jumped forward a year, which is back to the prologue, which was actually in the future, relative to the flashback, whatever. See, that's one thing I gotta point out about this game. Its story structure follows a plotline that I would never recommend a new author try, but they make it work because Square is just that good. Also, Martel did a little more farming for JP. And our calculator has added some significant new guns to her arsenal.
Given the game in question, are we speaking literally?
No, not yet. There's an event that unlocks that, but what we do have is the experience variable joins the CT variable, and we have every number combination possible, 3, 4, 5, and prime.
Excellent.
Now,
so we will not be starved for choice and target.
Exactly. And now I was reading a fact about this. The preferred way of dealing with the calculator is actually not to field a calculator at all, but just get a unit to master the math skill, and then turn that unit into a black mage, and then just give the black mage the math skill as a secondary. And that solves like the speed and the magic power problems, because calculators have low speed. As you can see, Janet's is 3, which is half of what a normal character has. And then really low magic power. That's the figure next to the rod with the red gem on top there.
Well, that makes perfect sense. If I'm going to call it mastery, I don't know if the actual term is, but with the mastery mechanics, you can use calculator spell even if you're calculating, right?
Yeah, and the cool thing about math skill is it doesn't use any magic points.
Oh.
Yeah, so you could have a character who's like, I don't know, a Lancer or a Knight or something who normally isn't a spellcaster and has a low MP, and it doesn't matter.
Nice.
Yep, so we're making progress on this.
Going to switch her over to Black Mage now, or later?
Later, because I haven't quite mastered Calculator yet. Let's see what other Calculator skills I need to learn. I got to do level and height. And then I want to learn like the tertiary, ordinary stuff. Well, I did learn move and get GP, which gives you JP just for walking, 1 per square. So that's really helping.
Oh,
Yeah, not too much to do here.
seems like a nice little add-up overtime thing.
Yeah, it really helps you out at the margins. So I think I'm just going to do one more round of grinding, and that should do it before we get back into the story, because we're about to hit a pretty major plot twist here. But before we do that, let us say hello to our live chat on YouTube. So right now we have Raul Nyanzi, hey Raul, Bradford Walker, always great to see you. The stalwart Viana Wolf, welcome back. Simon Ogwood, Escape Velocity. Hey, hopefully it'll last longer tonight, buddy. Exciting. Yes, Rod of Lordly Might, as our main character Reinhard is a lord. And that's creating some tension between him and his childhood buddy Delita. Oh! John Dacre. Evening. Gunwolf says, I can see how KDP can have its own hurdles on many sides. Yeah, it's just super fiddly, and like all tech nowadays, the devs who make it and update it have completely lost sight of the end user, so they're just treating everything as their personal onanistic sandbox, and they're just not market-facing anymore at all because they don't have to be. Don't know if any other authors here, like CL and his lovely bride, have had any problems with KDP similar to mine. Could just be me.
I think the only weird thing we've seen was when Amazon decided to slash the price on her book, I guess to make it more competitive in their eyes.
Yeah, they reserve the right to do that. Okay.
But the launch went smoothly from everything I remember. It got all the way up to, it was #1 in something, I believe, and sat at #2 in, I think, Christian children's fiction behind some book about warrior rabbits.
Good place to be. Now, for our listeners who might not be familiar, which book was that?
This was Mary May and the Nightmare Man by A.M. Freeman.
A book which I purchased myself and I
It's kind of a
recommend.
mashup of
Yeah, give us the elevator pitch.
It's a bit of an Oz, Narnia sort of Alice in Wonderland type vibe of older children's books where a young girl goes into another world, has adventures there, and triumphs through pluck and faith and other feminine virtues to encourage the inhabitants of the lands to fight back against the Nightmare Man.
Well, congratulations.
And also Robot Wolves and Chainsaw.
Yes, but with Robot Wolves and Chainsaws.
By the way, I have hired...
Well, wolves and chainsaws, that's a seller.
Yeah. And meanwhile, in Final Fantasy Tactics, I've hired a new punching bag. And he kind of came with that name. His name was Dog. I just added the E to bring him into current year.
Nice.
Oh, he's a very high-ranking Venetian.
But low level, and that's what's important. Escape Velocity says, I wish we had magic instead of technology. Well, some would say we do have magic, and that's what our fanatical cultic elites are using to seize and retain power.
It's me. I am someone.
Me too. Over on Cozy TV, Steve Franson has been going through Marina Abramovich's biography, and whew, if you want a scary campfire tale, sometimes truth is more twisted than fiction. Okay, what do we got here? Chocobos, cat, a goblin. Oh, 2 goblins. Well, let's kill everyone but 1 goblin.
Actually saw something. But did you know that Elon Musk will be in Babylon recently?
I did, yeah. And in it, he confessed that he is saved by Christ, which is encouraging.
Did you actually watch that part?
No, I did not, because I think it's behind a paywall or something. I just heard about it.
Nope. It's all on YouTube.
Oh, all of it is? Okay.
Watch it today. Yeah. That was the rapid fire round at the end, where that was one of the, or that was the 10 rapid fire question, and his exact words were, if Jesus wants to save people, I'm not going to stand in the way.
Interesting.
Although he said that his opinions on God were, I guess I'm like Einstein, I believe in feminism, so
Sorry, that was a little muddled. He said that his views were like Einstein and what?
he believes in the God of Spinoza.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like I fell victim to a bit of hype, a bit of misreporting.
Yeah, mind you, but it was a very encouraging interview.
Well,
the fact that he even agreed to an interview with that one in the first place.
Yep, and there's an opening there. There's definitely room for grace.
Plus, at the very least, he does not seem at all malicious, unlike a lot of people. Talking about why he does the stuff that he does, he's like one of those old-fashioned, adventurer capitalist types, I guess, where they're doing it because they're convinced that's the great thing to do. Cool robots.
Right.
But he gives very cogent answers on stuff like global warming or sustainable energy, which, if everyone chanting about that gave those kinds of answers, we wouldn't have a problem. for example, the whole sustainable energy thing, his take is we are going to hit a point where we run out of hydrocarbons at some point, so we might as well get started on sustainable energy now rather than waiting. Pretty reasonable, I'd say.
I mean, he's not building space lasers and like buying up all the farmlands the homesteaders can't. So that's refreshing.
Yeah. And then he was saying that like with global warming, maybe it's happening, maybe it's not. He's admitting that it is happening, but it's not that global warming would be catastrophic, it's just that it would be very disruptive. So mitigate what you can and also prepare for just regular climate change, which is also eminently reasonable. Like I said, he doesn't strike me as malicious.
Good to know. Yeah, he's enamored of many of the same pet causes that the ruling class, which is his class, are just fixated on right now. But I think he's actually applying some moderation and consideration to it instead of just going with the herd. So yeah, that's a hopeful sign.
Well, all of his companies have been, well, after PayPal, have been made to advance technology or society in some way, to the point where he personally now launches more rockets into space than all the nations of the Earth combined. Well, that's just a little bit. Like Tesla, I'm pretty sure that it's not actually a car manufacturing company, it's a battery research and development company. Because in order for renewables to be viable, you need a very efficient battery.
Makes sense.
Interesting podcast.
I'll have to listen to the whole thing when I have time. I've just been ridiculously busy.
Yep. And his answers do give me hope from the beginning. Certainly less likely people.
Right? That'll help. Yeah, Escape Velocity feels like it's listening to a John Williams score. Yeah, this game has great music. Which is pretty amazing because they took a big risk not going with Nobuo Uematsu, the go-to Final Fantasy composer. But can't argue with results.
So it sounds like Gustav Holst piece then. For anyone who has not heard it, Gustav Holst's Planet Suite is excellent, but Mars in particular, listen to that, and you will hear a lot of very familiar sounding music.
Yeah, they use it in like older cartoons a lot. Like I know Ren and Stimpy, like the Space Madness episodes and stuff, sample a lot of that. If it's what I'm
Really?
thinking.
Never saw Ren and Stimpy, so
Stay away from the reboot from Spike TV. That's all I'm going to say.
yeah, that's what I think.
Far away. attack this guy. Because if I was charged, he would have moved. Well, the bill for casting Flare on her came due, but all in all, I think it was a reasonable risk. Oh, and he's still unarmed. But he's doing great. Oh, I'm not really worried about that. JP just for showing up. Alright, who can I get here? Checking to see who is going to be affected by which combination of variables. Okay, do not want to do that. Yeah, let's try this. Math can heal as well as destroy. Heal. Embrace the healing power of Math.
You know, it told me that I could use Math to cast Mass Death spells on my attention.
I want to say I would have, I just don't know if it would have been physically possible.
I mean, you can't use it to cast mass death in real life.
Yes, but you have to like always know it's interesting that it's dollars in
Okay. You can't just divide by 0.
You can if you're very careful and you've got a Mylar suit.
Oh shit, you got a Mylar suit. What?
Exactly. Yeah, the only way you're going to be able to cast Math Death, though, is you have to start learning Bessel functions, and I'm not sure you really want to do that.
I'm very sure that I don't.
I see Chad is discussing some big brand X skin suits. They're never going to make anything you like again. Like, you realize there's no point in watching it, right? Like, even just hate watching it to think about it, that just plays right into their hands. No press is bad press.
No, I never saw them like that.
Just saying.
I never saw the point of hate punching. My time's limited enough as it is when I deliberately watch something.
No, because you can make money off of it because other people like to get spun up and watch your video. And
Well, no, that's excusable. But if you have a YouTube channel based off of that, hey, you're making money. I'm not going to criticize someone for making money. But I'm talking about the people who actually go to theaters and pay to see it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's confusing to me too. But I think a Ryan, you and a bunch of other folks are talking about that today. The projection of the show or the video or whatever onto the psyche of the person. It seems to be a very popular thing these days.
From what I've seen,
Was
it's...
that the one talking about? Was that the one talking about how we've gone from heroes being aspirational to heroes being like project onto, or was that?
That's what I was talking about. It's where instead of admiring someone, seeing what the aspirational hero does, it's the that person is like me or not like me, and you don't like the people who are not like you.
Or horrifying if those heroes are aspirational, or they are what the people writing the movies want those who watch them to be like.
Yeah, what I've noticed is among millennials and Zoomers specifically, there's this marked inability to... I don't think I can get to her here. But again, how Bartel and I were talking about how younger generations are living in a dark age. They don't know what's come before. They don't know that they don't know, and they don't know what they don't know. And one element of engaging with art that seems to have been lost is looking at the main character of a work and saying, okay, I aspire to emulate this character's virtues and avoid his flaws in the case of a tragedy, right? And instead, what you tend to get is a projection of the self onto that character. Like, I don't know how many times I've seen, like, oh, I'm just like Kay from Blade Runner 2049. Oh, I'm just like Patrick Bateman. I'm just like Goku. I'm just like Luke Skywalker, and on and on. And someone else pointed out, oh, look at this trophy culture. No. That's Gen Y. This is something else. Like, Gen Y was told, hey, I'm okay, you're special, but members of Gen Y could still have something to aspire to because we were still taught something of the past. We can at least compare today to yesterday. Millennials and Zoomers don't seem able to do that, at least not in the arts.
Almost a stasis function.
Yeah, expand on that a bit.
You have a static view of reality, or you're a bit of it, and you don't like to see it change. You've built an edifice, and you don't want the edifice torn down or marred in any way.
Yeah. It'll take a bit more research, but yeah, something's going on there. There's been, again, some kind of rupture. And I'm not quite sure why Gen Y doesn't elicit this behavior as much. It could just be the cultural fed or shift in marketing, because one of the main reasons that I and my colleagues differentiate Generation Y from Millennials is there was a concerted and deliberate effort on the part of Madison Avenue advertisers to stop marketing to this one decade-long cohort and start marketing to another one, which they specifically call the Millennials. So it could be that marketing shift. Uh-oh. Okay, that's bad. Couldn't get to my night in time there. First turned into crystal.
I'm now for a stream of consciousness, thinking of this thing as I go along. Possible explanation
Go for it.
is I think it's bled into other forms of entertainment from YA literature.
Oh.
Because I think YA literature is where you saw, like, Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, all these YA characters that are designed to be ciphers for the reader. Those then become adapted into successful films, which then influences the film industry, going like, oh, look, audiences want a cipher, which doesn't really explain why millennials and Zoomers are more affected by it, but they responded, so it seems, well to these cipher-like characters in the literature and then the movies. So now at this point, it's like, oh, it's what the kids want.
Maybe they respond to it because that's what they were raised on. I mean, what books did Gen Y primarily read growing up? What books did Millennials primarily read growing up?
Yeah. Oh, and not to fear, chat. She's back. That's why I save often. We're gonna try that again.
But one of the things that I think Brian and some other folks have discussed is the desire for millennials to ignore the past. It's kind of a living in the now. So looking at what they're reading is whatever's in front of them now, or what is fairly recent. I'm not sure if the Gen Y is in the same boat.
Well, agreed, but I just mean, what books did Gen Y mostly read growing up? Because there were some books whenever they were written.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I mean, in my case, I read Lord of the Rings. Right, I read Tolkien. It's like in my pre-adolescent years, and then mainly switched to comics through high school. And then also, that's when I got into Frank Herbert. So I'm probably an atypical case.
And that's not to insult you at all, but that would make it statistically useless, essentially, since we're trying to look at the baseline.
Oh, right,
I could tell you what I read growing up, but that would be useless for this discussion, because I am very far outside in that regard. A lot of red one. As a kid.
Those are pretty serious. So I found that I enjoyed all the stories that took place before Redwall itself in the list. Especially as Martin the Warrior was involved.
Like that. Luke the Warrior was big.
Lord Brocktree. That was the one that actually got me into the series.
Huh.
So, AA, I'm gonna
I don't know.
set you another research task really quick. If you could, look up what the best-selling youth fiction was in, like, the mid-'80s and mid-'90s. That should give us our answer. Anyway, go ahead, CL.
I know the copy of Martin the Warrior. I think I should probably That's the first mention that book was split into like books internally into the book, which blew my mind as a kid. So I didn't really touch it. When I found Lord Brocktree in the library and read that, I realized how good these books were. Then remembered that I actually had one back in them. Proceeded to have my heart ripped out and crushed for about 20 bucks.
Oh, if it makes you feel better, this guy's name is Metis for some reason.
I was happy to see when Razor Fist did a photograph of his bookshelves. He's got a books on there. Turning all of the pulp and metal.
Pretty good taste, right? This one.
I have this book of
Okay, I have the Publishers Weekly list of bestsellers for the 80s.
You do not disappoint. That was fast. So what you got?
I do my best to try to provide. For 1980, The Covenant by Michener, Born Identity by Loveland, Rage of Angels, Princess Daisy Firestarter by Stephen King, Devil's Alternative, Fifth Horseman, The Spike. Some of those I recognize, some not. 81, Noble House by Clavel, Hotel New Hampshire, Cujo by King, Decent Obsession, Gorky Park, Masquerade, Look About Your Head, Third Deadly Sin, Litterdome by Wamba, No Time for Tears. 82, E.T., The Extraterrestrial, Space by Michener, Parcel Mosaic by Loveland, Master of the Game by Sidney Sheldon, Mistral's Daughter, Valley of the Horses, Different Seasons, North and South by John Jakes, the 2010 Odyssey 2, and from St. Petersburg, 83, Return of the Jedi, Poland by Michener, Pet Cemetery by King, Little Drummer Girl by Carr, Christine by King, Changes by Jim Butcher, Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco, White Gold Wielder by Donaldson, Hollywood Wives. I'm sorry?
Did you say Changes by Jim Butcher was a bestseller in
83.
Probably a different guy.
Could be.
That. Are you sure you've got the right list?
Checking it right now.
So it's what, like 2010-ish?
Yeah.
Because I remember catching up to that.
But this is the Publishers Weekly list of the 80s. So obviously not the same Jim Butcher we're talking about. Now for 83, I remember Roberto Eco, I remember Davidson, King, Michener. So number 6 we'll puzzle over. 84, The Talisman by King and Straub, Aquitaine Progression by Ludlam, The Sicilian by Martin Puzo, Love of the War by John Jakes, The Butter Battle Book by Seuss, Ladies Club, The Fourth Protocol by Fred Forsyth, Lincoln by Gordon Ball, Full Circle, 85, Mammoth Hunters by Ewell, Texas by Michener, Lake Wobegon Days by Keeler, If Tomorrow Comes by Sidney Sheldon, Skeleton Crew by King, Secrets by Daniel Steele, Contact by Carl Sagan, Lucky by Jack Collins, Family Album by Daniel Steele, Class by Eric Siegel. So 85 is drifting from the big names, but It by Stephen King in 86, Red Storm Rising, Whirlwind by James Clavell, Born Supremacy by Loveland, Hollywood Husband by Collins, Wanderlust by Steele, I'll Take Manhattan by Judith Krantz, Last of the Breed by Lila Moore, Prince of the Tides by Pat Conroy, and A Perfect Spy by LeCar. 87, The Tommyknockers by King, Patriot... I'm sorry?
Yeah, just to save you some time there, if we're looking at Gen Y, because they're born 79 to 89. Yeah, like, right about now is when we should probably start. So, like, I would go, like, 87 to 97.
Okay, so I've covered part of 87, Misery here by King, Leaving Home by Keeler, Windmills of the Gods by Sheldon, Presumed Innocent by Thoreau, Fine Things by Steele, Heaven and Hell by John Jakes, Ice the Dragon by Stephen King. Stephen King's chunking in here. 88, Cardinal of the Kremlin by Clancy.
Okay.
It had to be said at some point.
It's all the cocaine.
Got it. Sands of Time by Sheldon, Zoya by Daniel Steele, Icarus Legend by Ludlum, Alaska by Mishner, Until We Meet Again by Judith Krantz, Queen of the Dam by Anne Rice.
Rest in peace.
Let's see. To Be the Best by Barbara Taylor Bradford, One by Richard Bach, Knit La Pass by Lewis. 89 was Clear and Present Danger by Clancy, Dark Path by King, Daddy by Daniel Steele, Star by Daniel Steele, Caribbean by Mishner, Satanic Verses was 89.
Oh, wow.
The Russian House by LeCar, Pillars of Earth by Ken Follett, California Gold by John Jakes, and My Pretty One Sleeps by Mary Higgins Clark, shifting to the 90s. Crane's Passage by Yule, 4 Past Midnight by King, Burden of Proof by Scott Turrell, Memories of Midnight by Sidney Sheldon, Message from Nam by Daniel Steele, Born Ultimatum by Loveland, The Stand by King, Lady Boss by Jack Collins, The Witching Hour by Anne Rice, September by Rosamund Pilcher, 91 was Scarlet by Alexandra Ripley, Some of All Fears by Clancy, Needful Things by King, No Greater Love by Daniel Steele, Heartbeat by Daniel Steele, Doomsday Conspiracy by Sidney Sheldon, The Firm by John Grisham, Night Over Water by Ken Follett.
Something just left out of me.
What's that?
Daniel Steele's name keeps showing up, right?
Yep.
The cyber character. Maybe just the fact that romance is the best selling genre. And romance, by convention, tends to cycle like character. Just wants to be able to project yourself into the story to experience the emotions. So maybe what we're really just seeing is the romance genre trying to colonize other genres to boost sales and bringing within the cypher character.
You know, that would actually explain a lot about the Kindle algorithm too, because pretty much every single advertisement that I get is for some sort of mystery with a little bit of flavoring from whatever genre. Like if I'm reading a military thriller, then some advertisement about Navy SEALs and women.
Interesting.
If it's fantasy, it's something about the individual that's
Not in the third consideration to pivoting my story more into romance. Partly for sales, and partly because I'm a sucker for romance.
well, to actually kind of tie it into what you've been writing about. It's like they're trying to play the Amazon algorithm, or maybe they're just not doing it deliberately, they're just doing it by writing romance, but with whatever flavor it is that they're trying to colonize. Like fantasy, military, or whatever.
Right. Well, what's interesting is that the 87, 88, and 89 had 2 out of 10 romance, going to 3 out of 10, going to 4 out of 10. Into the kind of jumping on what CL's talking about here. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 in 1990. It looks like 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 in 91. Yeah, we could do a little bit of a walk down to see if it's actually true. Let's see, where was it? I think it was in 92. So, Dolores Claiborne by King, Pelican Brief by Christian, Gerald's Game by King, Mixed Blessing by Steele, Jewels by Steele, We've Got Winnings, Stars Shine Down by Sidney Sheldon, Till the Body Thief by Anne Rice, Mexico by Missionary, Waiting to Exhale by Terry McMillan, All Around the Town by Mary Higgins Clark. 93, Bridges in Madison County, Robert James Waller, Client by John Grisham, the Grisham books, Slow Waltz, Cedar Bend by Robert James Waller, Without Remorse by Clancy, Nightmares and Dreamscapes by King, Vanished by Daniel Steele, Lasher by Anne Rice, Pleading Guilty by Scott Turow, Like Water for Chocolate or SNL, Scorpion Illusion by Ed Loveland, and 94, Chamber by John Grisham, Dead of Ireland by Clancy, Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield, The Gift by Daniel Steele, Insomnia by King, Politically Correct Bedtime Stories by James Clayton Garner, Wings by Daniel Steele, Accident by Daniel Steele, Disclosure by Michael Crichton, Remember Me by Mary Higgins Clark, 95, Rainmaker by Grisham, Lost World by Crichton, 5 Days in Paris by Daniel Steele, The Christmas Box by Richard Paul Evans, Lightning by Daniel Steele, The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield, Rose Matter by Stephen King, Ellis for Lawless by Sue Grafton, Politically Correct Holiday Stories by James St. Garner, The Horse Whisperer by Nicholas Evans.
So a lot of what I'm getting is a lot of Tom Clancy, a lot of John Grisham, a lot of Daniel Steele, and
Stephen King. In fact, 96 is a same pattern. This should be the last year. Runaway Jury by Grisham, Executive Orders by Clancy, Desperation by King, Airframe by Michael Crichton, The Regulators by Richard Bachman, which is Stephen King, Malice by Daniel Steele, Silent Honor by Daniel Steele, Primary Colors, Cause of Death by Patricia Cornwell, 10th Insight by James Redfield. And it pretty much continues that way through the rest of the 90s.
Yeah, if anybody needed an illustration of old pub's former power to be, no pun intended, kingmakers, look at how many of those names just keep showing up on that list for decades.
in fairness, Tom Clancy is quite good.
Well, sure, that's not to impugn the skill of any of those writers, but the idea that that handful of writers were the best in the Anglophone world at the time, or that there was no one else who could write even at the same level, strains credibility. And what you're seeing is old pubs, vertically integrated paper distribution monopoly in action. They were the gatekeepers. They decided who got to have a career, and they could keep people up there. Contrast that with today.
Very fair.
Yeah, didn't Joshua Lissett tweet that Old Pub doesn't publish what? How do you put it? They don't publish the best or
they don't
the
publish
best
what
out there.
people want to read.
Want to see.
Yeah, they publish what they want you to read, not what you want to read. And he's a guy who's worked in old pubs, so he knows what he's talking about.
Well, look at who they're pushing today. On the sci-fi side, John Scalzi. I kind of stopped paying attention around the time they were really pushing it. But John Scalzi, was it Ernest Cline who did that Wretched Wind Player one?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah. If you have to subject yourself to it, at least do it with Mike Nelson at your side.
I read it. Worst mistake I ever.
Better idea. Do it with Nick Cole writing it for you instead.
That's always a better idea.
And Joyce said that.
Mike Nelson's podcast, 372 pages will never get back, was precipitated by that book.
For the MST3K guy?
Yeah. His podcast was, he and one of the people who works with him on riff tracks, more behind the scenes, or one of the writers, decided to do a podcast. And what are we going to do with it? Let's just take what we think are going to be bad books, as opposed to bad movies, and we'll read a section of it every week, or every 2 weeks, however they did it, and then we'll talk about it. And it was one of the most execrable books I have ever heard in segmentation, and it makes for some great comedy.
I wasn't laughing.
I understand.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with that sentiment. 372 pages of worst recommendation I ever got.
So checking the chat, Escape Velocity has read Anne Rice's entire vampire series, and he picked up the first book in jail. Well, people have picked up worse habits in the clink, so well done. I don't know, what'd you think of them? Oh, and Escape Velocity points out Amazon canceled Conan, but made the Wheel of Time instead. Less masculine, more feminine. Yeah, I think in general, one factor we can definitely ascribe all these trends to is the decrease in masculinity in the West and the rise of feminine dominance. It just keeps showing up.
The one good part about the real time is it's which did not happen.
I have to say that I got through the first 3 books of the Wheel of Time, probably about 3 chapters into the 4th book, and said, I am just so tired of braid tugging and arms crossed under breasts. I'm quitting.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
And that was a series that probably was designed to be 3 books. That was watered down into, what was it, 12 or 13.
Well, according to Tom Doherty,
Before it finished.
who I heard this from in person at Gen Con, Robert Jordan had been writing like Civil War historical fiction books when he approached Tor with the idea for Real Time and for the Eye of the World, and at first he thought he could get it done in 1 book. And Tom said, okay, we'll tell you what, let's sign you to a 3-book deal. And Robert was like, no, I think I can do this in 1. It's like, well, let's do the 3-book deal. And so they did the 3. And like midway through book 3, Robert Jordan's like, okay, well, I think I'm going to need 1 more after this. And Doherty was like, well, let's just extend that for another 3-book deal. And again, over Jordan's protestations that he could do it in 4. He planned for 6, and then they apparently just left a clause in there it was open-ended and just kept renewing it for 3 more at a time. But yeah, it really should have been 6 at most.
I just keep thinking of the poor forests.
Why? Because they just keep getting demolished in battle scenes.
No.
cut
I
down
need
books.
Oh, yeah.
how to make the books.
Oh, okay. I mean, what is renewable resources?
Yeah. Funny story about that, actually. Found out that in 1807, the Royal Danish Navy fought a battle against the British, lost. So the Danes, being forward-thinking, several hundred thousand years to be planted. They took about, and that species of oak took about 200 years to mature. So in 2008, the successor to the Danish Royal Forestry Service informed the Navy that these were now ready if they would like to take delivery of them. The Navy declined delivery.
And that also reminds me how in, I think 1902, a ship full of Christmas trees harvested on Michigan's Upper Peninsula sank in Lake Michigan under Chicago in like 600 feet of water. And the wreck was lost until the 70s when divers discovered it and found that, once again, owing to the forces Argonaut discussed in our discussion of Lake Tahoe last time, the Christmas trees were found on deck perfectly preserved, as if they were ready to be set up for Christmas morning.
That's eerie.
Yeah, well, that's also seen as a ghost ship on Lake Michigan, by the way. And occasionally trees...
I swear that the Great Lakes are...
Sorry, go ahead.
I swear the Great Lakes are haunted.
Oh,
everything about them.
They totally are. Do you have any...
What was that ship that went down? Wrote a song about it.
Edmund Fitzgerald.
The record of Edmund Fitzgerald?
Yes.
But yeah, they're really on it. So in the case of the Christmas tree ship, mariners and folks on the shore report hearing a ship's bell after finding Christmas trees, like fresh trees washed up on the beach. They'll hear ship's bell, usually heavy fog, and then see the ship, which was an old-style wooden three-masted schooner, drift out of the fog and then disappear. There's a phenomenon called the Ottawa drum, which is this weird booming, not associated with thunder, because it'll happen in a clear sky, but people have said that it tolls the number of lives lost on the Great Lakes. Tons of other high strangeness.
Sounds rife for one of those walk ghosts.
It is.
Going through the Great Lakes stuff.
Yeah, okay, I'll have to do that.
We keep giving you ideas for this.
Why do you think I keep doing this? That's because it's fun. It is a fringe benefit. Yeah, and in reply to chat, yeah, I was a big fan of Wheel Time. I was a big booster of the books. Again, up until like book 10, when I just couldn't maintain the charade anymore. I'm like, okay, this is going nowhere. But again, I love everything in 1 through 6.
I'm pretty sure that Martin is hoping for.
Yeah, they're just gonna have Brandon Sanderson finish Game of Thrones for him. But now, one thing
It's becoming Brandon Sanderson's job, isn't it? Just finishing off author's books.
pretty much. Now, in Robert Jordan's
Good at it.
Now, in Robert Jordan's defense, though, he was deathly ill by the time of the last two books. Like, honestly, he was dictating the outline for the last book to his wife from his hospital bed, so I cut him a lot of slack.
Oh, sure.
Of course, one major series that a lot of the millennial and Zoomer self-insert revolves around is Star Wars. And there's one thing I did notice, not just with me, but also my peers, was that when I was a kid, like up until I was in high school, Star Wars wasn't really around as much as it is now. I mean, you didn't really have the expanded universe novel starting until the early 90s, and then they didn't really make an impact with kids until the NES and Super NES video games of like the mid-90s. And then it really blew up with I'm blanking on the name, but it was the Star Wars movie with everything but the Star Wars movie, Shadows of the Empire. It was like the big breakout. And then stuff like New Jedi Order, like that would have come around when the millennials are starting to come into adolescence. So there's definitely a generation gap. Yeah. What year would that have been?
90s.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that jives.
Mid-90s was also a huge merch explosion for Star Wars. That was when, I believe, the first toy lightsabers came out. We had, they like redid a whole line of action figures, Shadows of the Empire got some. That was when they gave the license to brand for the first time. That was a little bit later in the 90s, leading up into the prequel trilogy. But as a young kid at the time, it was fantastic.
Right?
But I could definitely see that also having a hand in cementing Star Wars as a pop cultural phenomenon more than theaters.
And you have the prequel trilogies coming up with kids. And Darth Maul, Duel of the Fates, epic lightsaber duels, pod racing.
I see Bradford Walker in chat
It's
is
a bit more
about
accessible than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. But what do you guys make of the conversation about Hollywood going more for bilingual talent, especially from China? They got Michelle Yeoh, for example.
What?
I'm just reading chat here. So,
Are you talking about current Hollywood?
I'd say China's pretty firmly rebuffed Hollywood's overtures now.
Yeah.
yeah, specifically
Or it
the...
could be tied forward.
Go ahead.
Someone was putting it on Twitter that all of these more representation of cultures, a la like Kanto, Ride Last Dragon, and whatnot. Like it's not aimed at the foreigners, it's aimed at the second and third generation immigrant kids that are Americanized, so they don't really want their own culture's product. They want the American version of their own culture turned into product for them.
That's the endless spiritual mystic battle of those movies with very emotive penalties.
Exactly.
Those are called votive cannons, right?
Yes.
Okay.
probably originally that failing. So it's probably the hot market in the US.
Heck, is the Chinese homegrown film industry has now overtaken Hollywood in China. They don't really need us anymore.
And they're willing to be even more unabashed in pro-Chinese propaganda, which is saying something.
I'm all for that, honestly. Let's see.
The enemy of my enemy is my enemy. Nothing else.
It's not exactly my moral calculus there.
So, since we're talking about cultural institutions, something that I've always wondered and kind of bothers me a little itch. Why is Harry Potter so, dominant in everything?
I'm going to open that to the
More so
floor.
than Star Wars, I would have.
Yeah, there's a case to be made for that. What does the panel think?
Ooh, as someone who enjoyed these books as a kid, I'm going to contemplate for a moment engaging some self-reflection.
Yeah, and let me preface it by saying I enjoyed them as a kid as well. But I don't understand why it's Harry Potter, which is so culturally significant. Like, why that of all things?
I think because of all pop culture, it was one of the first ones for, if you were looking to it as an air-slash religion because you're a pop cultist, it was one of the first things to actually provide that.
Oh, to interrupt really quick, I have to make a correction. Bradford Walker clarifies, no bilingual talent with ties to non-Hollywood media markets moving out of Hollywood and going home. The presence in Hollywood is secondary and done to advance their non-Hollywood projects, Axis in the West. Okay, sorry, that's what I get for having half my brain focused on the game and half on chat. Just wanted to clarify that to vindicate Bradford's honor there. Anyway, good point about Harry Potter. Definitely ties into the pop cult. Please continue on that vein.
For example, like midnight releases of the book, was that something that happened prior to that? Like, Brian, do you remember there being some websites that like for stores for the shipping to arrive?
Man, other than some super hardcore Stephen King fans that I knew, like I remember one release right around the time that his Bachman pen name was exposed as really being him. Like whichever Bachman book that was, I remember someone like trying to get early access to that, although he might have worked at a bookstore. But yeah, other than Harry Potter, I do not remember that being a prominent phenomenon, no.
So Harry Potter had all this stuff that was good marketing for bookstores, good marketing for libraries, good marketing for school reading programs that either by design or inadvertently also meant seeing the first kind of pop culture call for it. And so it's got practices simply for being one of the first to do that. Plus you've got fans for the book, kids and teenagers, we're now getting broadband internet in more and more homes as well. So you also have a online fandom that is the original fandom and not being added on fact, like it's been a Star Wars fan since the first film, so when you introduce the internet to that, it's added on to its already existing Harry Potter that you got the internet growing up alongside it as well. Which is going to then allow that community to form.
Interestingly enough, Harry Potter, the Philosopher's Stone was 1997.
Every time.
That's Retro-Spective.
Come again?
I was just saying, right at the crossover point.
Yeah. Just as the bomb had been dropped, it was whistling through the air towards us.
And it probably created a bunch of new fantasy readers too, and that was their first introduction to the genre because, like growing up, I had already read Thank Wizard of Earthsea by that point, and Chronicles of Crusade, Chronicles of Narnia, probably some Redwall. I'm pretty sure I'd read The Hobbit at that point too, I think, but I don't remember those books being heavily advertised, like you knew about them because your mom knew about them or something, not because the library were fantasy appropriate for children front and center of the library.
Was this? I just had this thought, but do you suppose that stuff like No Child Left Behind, children's literacy initiatives, did those predate the 90s books, or were those really starting to be
Well, No Child Left Behind was W, right?
Yeah, that was Bush. But was that the first example of a child literacy initiative?
There was Book It, remember that?
Or did... Wow. Fall back.
Takes you back, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just had a quick side discussion. Kind of side discussion that there was also some outrage that was following the first book, potentially the first two, because of the use of magic. Essentially, warlocks and wizards in the books, and these are kids' books.
Once again, fundamentalist Christians were right about everything.
Right. Yeah.
And it was for the wrong reason. Right? They were grasping. They've always inherently sensed that something wasn't quite right, be it in movies or heavy metal role-playing games or daycares, but they didn't quite have the moral categories or the aesthetic categories to really put their finger on it. But yeah, we should listen to them.
Yeah.
They just didn't have the PR.
Yeah. Well, and also, the previous conversation about teens not having a cultural heritage, so they don't even know what it is they're trying to do. Same problem applied with fundamentalist parenting. Best of intentions, in a lot of cases, exactly right, just not right.
I'll have to ponder there.
And not really able to properly articulate why something is wrong, so they wind up coming across as buffoons because the enemy's good enough. It's propaganda.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why they flip out, disproportionately, anytime anyone who dissents comes within a hair of moving out of obscurity and getting just an iota of influence. They know it's in bread and butter.
Well, that's why they. That's why you saw all of the crackdown from them. Whatever you think of the guy, did not need traditional media to get the message across at all. That made him a threat to everyone because to be in power, especially Congress or elected officials these days, means that you play by the rules the media set. I didn't see all of those. I think it's a boomer trope, but we've all seen those things where you've got a repressive regime. There's some guy in charge of it, and then the hero, our plucky intrepid hero, gets a recording of him saying something horrible, like he doesn't actually believe anything that he says, or he's just out to oppress the people, or whatever. And then they play it in public, and everyone sees it, and scales fall from the eyes, and everyone immediately overthrows that evil regime, right?
It happens everywhere from RoboCop to Serenity, and many other cases.
I was thinking of The Running Man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, getting back to Bachman.
Yep.
And again, they always project and they show their...
Yeah, but that's the story that the media tells to itself.
But go ahead, AA.
Just taking a look at the Wikipedia article on the first Harry Potter book. It wasn't well received, but towards the end of the year, garnered American Library Association Notable Book Award, Publishers Weekly Best Book of '98, New York Public Library Best Book of the Year, Parenting Magazine Book of the Year Award for '98, Whole Library Journal Best Book of the Year, American Library Association Best Book for Young Adults. 99, it topped the New York Times bestseller list for fiction, stayed on for much of 99 and 2000. Until the New York Times split its list into a children's and adult sections under pressure from other publishers.
Wait, so point of clarification. It did poorly on release, and then did it garner those awards in the same year that it released?
Released in 97, and that may have been the UK release, looking for the rest of them. It was published in the United States by the Scholastic Corporation in 98. So yes, it published in 97 in the UK, 98 in the US, and it garnered those awards in the long list of awards were for 98. But it created a split in the New York Times bestsellers list to build a children's list as well as an adult list.
Okay, that's crucial. So before that, they didn't separate them.
Correct. There was a combined list, but Harry Potter split the New York Times bestseller list into two pieces.
That sounds like it got crap. Eldritch Drift. So it sounds like Harry Potter got to the point that it did because the publishing industry decided that it should.
Well, it would certainly open it up for all of the Harry Potter books to then be on their own New York Times bestseller list.
mean, there's also a bit of adult author jealousy in there as well. We need to create a separate children's book because we're tired of being defeated by this punk kid.
If you think about it, this is one of the first. Well, I shouldn't say one of the first, but if you think about it from the perspective of what you were just discussing a little while ago, there's no bad publicity here. Everyone is talking about it, good or bad. And then it generates that level of change in the way the publishers do their awards and rankings.
Something else to point out, which Bradford Walker in chat points out, is that Scholastic has the same kind of lock on schools that college textbook publishers do. So that goes a long way to explaining it.
Correct. And from what I'm reading here, as far as the book, we bought it at the book fair, it's the Bologna Book Fair in '97 for about $100,000, which in and of itself is a very high price for most children's books. So whether or not it was chance, they glommed onto it and ran with it. Because the way it looks, they have been doing the publication for the books all the way through the series.
Now bear in mind as well that the New York Times bestseller list is notoriously easy to rank. I mean, it's as crooked as boxing. Because the way it works is the New York Times doesn't look at all books sold, right? It's kind of like Nielsen ratings. In fact, I think the same company or an offshoot company does both lists, but they select a number of physical bookstores to track the sales of books at, and it's always like the same handful of stores in New England. And with all the closures of bookstores now, it's gotten even easier to predict which stores they are going to canvass. And the stores that the New York Times selects as its sample, like it's always been an open secret within publishing. Like, it's such a tight-knit group, and word travels so fast that everyone in charge knows. So what the publishers will do is, if they want to get a book on the New York Times list, they will just make bulk orders, like through an intermediary company, at the select stores. And that is why sometimes we'll see an old pub author's book come out at launch, like, be in the top 10 or even the number 1 for like a week, and then drop off. That's how you know that's going on behind the scenes. So, did they use that same tactic with Harry Potter? Well, if they did, that would strongly argue toward Martell's theory that they got there because they wanted it there. They wanted to be popular.
But yeah, the thing that's just bothering me is that there are lots of other things that are extremely popular because of that information. Avatar. The blue one, not the good one.
Gotcha.
And yet, in spite of that massive popularity, it just had no cultural staying power. So why is it that of all the things that were pushed, it's Harry Potter that stuck with people's minds?
Alright, I'm going to defend books for a minute, because I think that's part of the reason why it's stuck, is that for all of the book's flaws, Rowling's not a bad writer. She's able to write entertaining stories. Before she went full ticket taker, I think she was talking to True when she said that she intended it to be a Christian series in the meaning behind events. And so I think that resonated with a lot of the readership. Unfortunately, it seems most of them took the wrong message from the stories into an ersatz religion instead of seeking out Christianity. But I think there was some genuine spiritual resonance in the series that moved a lot of people even if they couldn't explain why.
Well, look, I don't discount any of that. I'm just saying that those elements don't necessarily have as big an impact on an IP's popularity as many of us, especially who are content creators, would like to think. Because if the past few years have shown us anything, it's that, again, most people are NPCs who will do and say and think and buy what they're told to. Right? Like, we're in the middle of a global crisis wherein people are being told, hey, buy this medical treatment, and they're just as rabid for that as Potter fans are about their beloved IP. And I would say it's the same dynamic. And what is the most powerful marketing tool? It is aspirational marketing. Like, if any of us could get our books into the hands of, I don't know, say Scarlett Johansson or Elon Musk, and a picture of, like, Johansson or Musk reading our book at the office or at an event goes viral, yeah, we will be overnight millionaires. That's just how it works. So I would look at who some of the early adopters and boosters of Harry Potter were who are already famous. Like, one big name that jumps out is Stephen King. He's a huge vocal Rowling fan. So I would have to wonder if he didn't have anything to do with her early success. That'd be
That.
wrong.
Yep. And that implies nothing good about it.
And Ronnie in chat points out, or it looks like he's talking to Bradford. Okay, I'm going to read the whole conversation this time. This is not to get lost or misrepresent anything. So, Bradford says, in short, this is old pub working with academia to form narrative in a new generational cohort that has paid off very well for the owners of both institutions. Remember that Harry and the gang all went on to take positions in the magical world's version of the professional managerial class. The exact cohort that runs the institutions then and now. And Rawl says, which dovetails with Brian's talk about how you should show the heroes winning according to sound morals rather than death court morals. Yeah, Rawl, that's how you reinforce the morality you want to promote. You get protagonists, you make protagonists that people want to root for, then you show those protagonists winning according to the morals that you want to promote. And then Walker concludes, in short, rolling stories presume that affairs will be in good order if the PMC is in charge and they adhere to the professional ethics. Don't know if CL has a take on that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well,
Feels like about activists.
yeah. There's a great, I don't get it, but Fortran had a nice little big text breaking down that same thing. That it's, Harry as a protagonist ultimately is not really a force for any kind of real change for better in his world. Like, ultimately he just becomes a magical cop working for the magical bureaucracy.
See, Magic Cop sounds like an intriguing book for a series. The execution.
Something like that.
If only.
Perhaps maybe his ancestors had slaughtered
the ideal, really.
Yeah, he hasn't really been doing the magic mind you, I'm happy with where the series has gone. It's a rare case of something being taken to its logical conclusion, most of it itself.
I think part of it is giving Harry Potter its longevity on top of Asperger. Because like you said, right, they can push something that they think it's going to take the same way. It was also just fan fiction, just because of everything Rowling gave them to work with. I think of that just because one of the more interesting things done with the world was Eliazar Jokowski's Harry Potter and the Method of Rationality, where he basically goes full emulating all at Hogwarts and kind of tugs everyone's world and is like, let's play things out to the logical extreme.
Though, and I'm just spitballing here, and tying to the self-insert because it's so popular with fanfiction writers. It was easier for people to envision themselves as I'm thinking of how 2014, 2015 you saw ostensibly serious, rational, important people in the real world calling themselves Dumbledore's army when they're talking about fighting their political opponents.
Yes. Also shows a hilarious lack of either self-awareness or even comprehension, given that said fictional organization was formed as a reaction to government overreach and was a basically pro-Second Amendment move, but if they could think through that much, they'd probably be comparing their politics to children.
Yeah, so let's step back to the present for a moment, the current year, and look at the cultist behavior. There might be some clues there. So, like we've got the guitarist of a self-styled countercultural punk band claiming to break down in tears of joy at a megacorp theme park attraction when he's handed a note on a cocktail napkin saying "Welcome to the Resistance," right? Something along those lines. And then, yeah, we've got the Dumbledore's army thing. Yeah. And just... these are people living in a state of unreality. They're... like, the net effect of the Death Cult taking charge of all the organs of propaganda and turning it into, like... it's like an inner party and an outer party. The pop cult is like the outer party to the Death Cult, and it's a funnel into it. But they've managed to completely surround these people with a simulated society. It's no wonder that simulation theory is so popular with them, but they never have to engage with reality. And it's just infantilizing.
Well, I've made this point before, every single culture, no matter what, has its. And I believe it was C.S. Lewis who said that deny the body food and it will gobble poison. But they're still human, technically, at the start. So they still have all of those myths, it's just that the myths are Disney Star Wars. So that's how they view the world.
I mean, that was really a brilliant play on the Colts' part, honestly, because what Lucas did was come as close as anyone to achieving Tolkien's aim for Britain, which was sort of recreating a shared mythology for his people. I mean, you really have to go back to stuff like Johnny Appleseed and Paul Bunyan to find...
Yeah, America doesn't really have myths because we're such a young country. We have folk tales, but that's not the same thing.
But I think that Star Wars, like, even if you look at the effects, it's filling the same role. Like, it's clearly not a flat-out American foundational myth, because most people who are saying don't really believe that there are Jedi, or much less that, like, somehow, ships from Corellia crash landed on Earth and founded America, right? That would be a founding myth to explain to ourselves, but it's filling a similar niche, and the Death Cultists have wrested control of it from its original creator, and wow, is that a devastatingly powerful cultural weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a foundational myth, but it's a moral. I would say that you have, like with Greece, Oedipus is the foundational moral myth about the dangers of what happens. Depends on which Oedipus you're reading.
Star Wars is the moral myth saying, remember, we were the good revolution, we were the one that worked.
Well, no, we were the ones who overthrew Hitler. Hitler is a more central figure to Americans than even George Washington at this point.
True.
Because the foundational myth is before 1939, before 1942. The world was in chaos, it was evil, America was kind of there, but we were gifting. And then Hitler came along. It was America that rose up and overthrew Satan, essentially. And so everything since then is America either being more or less than the country that would be a Nazi, which, if you replace the Nazi with Hitler and Satan, you'll get a much better understanding of the connotation that those words have for Americans.
Oh, and you hit on something crucially...
And Star Wars.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, finish the thought. I think it's going to be important.
Well, Star Wars, the bad guys are called stormtroopers. You really can't get more obvious than that.
Right, and...
They practically wear a Fairmont little cap.
Okay, so put yourself in the position of a pop cultist, of a woke cultist, right? So according to the myth's internal logic, well, we defeated the Great Satan. We defeated Mustache Man. So now the serpent has been purged from the Garden of Eden. He was the one thing keeping our equalist utopia from being ushered in. But now they're left with the problem of, well, wait, if we defeated him, why is there still injustice, inequality, inequity? Why are these hobgoblins still plaguing us? And also being a cargo cult, the reason they jump to is, it's because the minions of Mustache Man are still out there. Even if they don't know, they serve him. Right? He's gone from being an actual historical figure to a Sauron-like nebulous presence that can infect people. And hence their rabid need to go on witch hunts and root out any trace of anything contrary to the myth.
This is also why when it's a ultimate property, is to tell their version of it. They return to the mythological archetype. Mustache Man is returned somehow.
the scene with
Rebels.
the scene with Starkiller base firing is the Nuremberg rally, just with an ascending column of hellfire as we smoke the sky, which would have made the actual Nuremberg rally one.
You know, you bring up an artistic conceit.
Speaking of rallies, that does make the ending of the video really funny.
Yeah, they pretty much stole that shot from Triumph. Go ahead.
Did you guys bring up an interesting aesthetic conceit I've noticed? Have you noticed all of the laser beams shooting into the sky in like every science fiction and fantasy movie?
Yes.
Now,
CinemaSins created its own category for it.
It's so ridiculous that I believe Lego Batman really
right now,
Yeah.
here's the scary thing I've noticed, which is like the blue laser shooting into the sky has bled into real life now. So remember the memorial of 9/11 where they had twin shafts of light shooting into the sky. Here in my hometown, they recently renovated the main bridge leading across the river into town. And for some reason, like, for one, they didn't finish the deck, so the roadway over the bridge is still super rough, but what they did take the time to do instead was line the bridge with 2 rows of super powerful LEDs, which you can see shining into the sky like twin pillars pretty much anywhere in town now. And like on cloudy days, it's like a weird bat signal. So I'm wondering what the significance of that is. It seems to be some kind of cult symbolism.
I believe that I can tell you.
Please do.
And in ancient Mesopotamian societies, as a fertility ritual, the high priest and the leader of the temple prostitutes would have sex in the temple of Ishtar, and then go out and have sex in the fields as a symbol of the fertility of the gods. It was some type of magic. I try not to learn too much about it. But the same principle as voodoo. By making something sufficiently similar, it becomes the thing. And do you notice, and I thought of this when you mentioned Lego Batman, do you notice what all of those creators, what they do?
They're always portals.
Bingo. They are always portals when something's wrong.
Yeah, so this is only on the Discord side, but I'm sharing a link with you guys. You guys talking about light all the time. This reminds me of this.
And I have my suspicions about what's driving it, but if you also look at the stuff surrounding CERN, CERN, like that
The accelerator.
bizarre tunnel opening ceremony, the human sacrifices, the statue to Shiva in their main office, literally an altar to Shiva in the office of CERN. Pretty sure that they're trying to recreate it.
Oh,
It's also kind of like a massive holographic tower.
yeah. Nothing new under the sun. Yeah, that ended well.
It's coming full circle with that if anyone has seen Nadia's secret really are. The new tower thing they built in that is a sky beam, Tesla death ray.
Because of course.
So,
Bradford's pointing out too, Western pop culture after World War II rests on mythologizing World War II and the Allied narrative. I have to agree. It's like watching anything coming out of Hollywood. The only evil thing is the enemy in World War II. That's it.
again, replace Nazis with demons, replace Hitler with Satan. The modern morality is, if it is a Nazi thing, it is bad. Everything is bad insofar as it is like the Nazis, and everything is good insofar as it is opposed to the Nazis. Which is how they can get away with calling, respectively, George Bush, Mitt Romney, John McCain, and Donald Trump Hitler. In spite of all of them really having nothing in common with each other, let alone the actual historical figure of Hitler.
Yeah, it's not a mantle that gets passed on. It just means Dark Lord.
Yep. Always too, there are.
Oh boy.
But, yeah, somebody pointed out that Hollywood is predictive programming, which makes the prevalence of sky beams somewhat ominous.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot of NyQuil to sleep tonight. Well, I probably won't be sleeping, I'll be grappling
Although,
with KDP. Yeah?
if you're looking for a material explanation, the thing which started the Skybeam trend was the Avengers. Most of the Skybeam stuff is from Disney, or the Disney Marvel stuff. So, it could just be the script writers ripping each other off because they're so uncreative. Like, the Avengers did it, it was a cool visual, and then they're so creatively bankrupt that they just don't know what else to do, so we'll do another Skybeam. Like Starkiller Base. How do we make the Death Star even, but better? Make it a planet and it blows up solar systems instead of a world.
Yeah.
Not sure which
Starkiller
one's
did do the Skybeam best, though. It's a shame. They do still have some visual effects talent, but all in service to Devil Mouse.
Yeah. The VFX artists deserve better stories.
You're here.
It's an insult to their skill that they're doing slop.
Skybeam
Whoever
liberates
cut some of the trailers together for things. There are some trailers that pack more emotion than the actual movie they advertise.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Almost to the point where I can recognize it and be like, you know what? I could just save time and money and just watch this trailer again. Because nothing in the movie is actually going to feel as cool as this does.
Yeah, concur. I mean, there's a lot of trailers that, okay, I've just seen all the interesting scenes in the film. They packed them into this trailer. I'm done watching or having to worry about watching that film.
Yep. And they've been doing that for years. I also, when I went to movies, I always hated how they would throw in scenes from the movie's climax into the trailers, so it would just pull all of the tension out of certain scenes, because it's like, okay, I haven't seen this scene yet, so I know that it has to happen, which means that this character will survive this one.
It makes me really appreciate the Fury Road trailer, which heavily focuses on the sandstorm scene.
Good good place to
And
focus.
that's about the halfway point.
Not even. That's like the end of Act 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it looks visually impressive, so it's great for the trailer, but it has not yet hit the climax, so it gives away nothing.
And Fury Road is, and I'm not saying this as an insult, it's such a simple movie that you really only need to show that it's Mad Max, there are cars, and there's going to be stunts.
The whole movie's a car chase.
Very simple.
Like after the preliminaries, it's just a constant car chase. And that's how they storyboarded it. It's not just me saying that.
Yeah. Well, that was Mad Max 2, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little while ago I rewatched the whole series, and
That was a good film.
yeah, holds up. Oh,
I feel like Mad Max 2 is the sweet spot, because Mad Max 1, Mad Max is just kind of its own thing. It's not really the world of Mad Max. So Thunderdome is when the thing has become itself too much. Mad Max 2 is that sweet spot. And then Fury Road is Mad Max 2, but different.
yeah, I'd agree that The Road Warrior, I think that's the official title, Part 2, is just Mad Max par excellence. And then I think Thunderdome was originally going to be another movie, just like a standalone post-apocalyptic film that they slapped the Mad Max brand onto.
That would explain
Do
it.
that.
And George Miller...
Because there's not a lot of vehicular mayhem at all in there.
Yeah, not really. And George Miller kind of... I think it was just a contractual obligation for him. He didn't really have his full heart in it, which just shows what a great director he is.
Yeah.
He really wanted to make Babe 3 instead, but
Wait, George Miller was Babe?
Yeah.
yes. Babe, Happy Feet, and several Mad Max films.
Alright, well, I think I'm going to take another...
Man's got some range.
More you know.
Yeah, like how Wes Craven did Music of the Heart, and that was like the passion project he always wanted to make in between slasher films. But I think I'm going to take another job here. Let's see what the Coast Guard is up to. Let's see what orders the Coast Guard has for us.
Or if anyone's ever read Sweet Ermengarde by H.P. Lovecraft, that renowned writer of romantic comedies.
Well, look at
I
this.
can't tell if you're joking or not.
Oh no, look it up. Sweet Ermengarde. It is a real short story written by H.P. Lovecraft. And the man is funny.
There's your book recommend for the night chat. So meanwhile,
And really, with a name like Lovecraft, you would expect a romance author.
right, it's too on the nose though. That's why he didn't do that much of it. But so, yeah, we're being called to investigate strange objects drifting off the coast of Evilise, which is concerning citizens.
President's Ark.
Huh.
Well, speaking of H.P. Lovecraft,
Right, wonder if it's the bloop.
it's like that History Channel meme. I'm not saying it's deep ones, but
Yeah, we all know what you're saying.
But it's deep ones.
That's right. Okay, 9 days is the max. Oh, and then we have another one ready to go after this, but I think we'll do this one. See how they do. See what we get. Yeah. Meanwhile, Chad Bradford Walker concurs with Road Warrior's best Mad Max, or peak Mad Max to be specific, and Escape Velocity asks, what is Terry Gilliam's best film? Ooh! I'm gonna give that one to the panel first. What do you guys say?
Yeah. I think I'd go with Brazil. Yeah, I think I'd go with Brazil.
Solid choice.
Sounds like I need to watch Brazil. I have not seen any of his films, so I'm also eagerly anticipating the answers.
Writer or director?
Let's say director for now. John Digger
So
says,
the
Pete
only
Mad Max
stuff
will
that I've
be
seen
the U.S. in
from
the next few
him-
years. Yeah, that's true. Anyway, sorry, Martel, go ahead.
The only stuff I've seen of his were Monty Python, Time Bandits, Baron Munchausen, and 12 Monkeys. So, of those, Monty Python. And I know it's a basic answer, but
No, that's fair.
Funny things are funny, as they say.
yep.
Indeed.
Time Bandits and Munchausen are a bit too...
They're a bit too.
Yeah. They're a bit... They're good, but they're just a bit... You know.
Yeah.
They've got that
It's-
je ne sais quoi.
Yes, and that's why I guess I picked Brazil, because it's got humor to it, but you can tell from both Time Bandits and Munchausen, as you're saying, it's just there's too much while being too little. Whereas Brazil, there's I think a little bit of something for everybody in there. There's a little bit of comedy, a little bit of horror, a little bit of drama. A little bit of just being unsettling occasionally, which is what Gilliam's good at.
Now, I rather liked... Well, actually,
Hmm.
I have to go for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, good answers so far. And by the way, he did direct Monty Python and the Holy Grail, so that does qualify. I think one that nobody named is The Crimson Permanent Assurance, which was one of his short films. But, I'm fond of that one. Well, have you guys heard of Lost in La Mancha? The documentary about the tragic failed attempts of Terry Gilliam to make a Don Quixote movie with Johnny Depp. Anybody familiar with
No,
that?
have not heard about that.
Yeah,
No.
it's like it's been his life's dream to make this movie, and he just does not work with Hollywood. He's trying to do it all with independent financing, mainly European, and they filmed a lot of it, from what I understand, on location in Spain. But there were weather problems and just all kinds of funding difficulties. So just he'd start filming and then run out of money and have to stop for like years at a time while he went and gathered more. And sadly, it doesn't look like it's ever going to get finished, at least not as he envisioned it.
Interesting. I just looked up the main page, and they had a substantial cast going for it as far as the leads. That's for certain.
Yeah, now he did end up making a movie, The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, and I believe it has footage from his original project, but it's about a disillusioned director who's pulled into a world of time-jumping fantasy when a Spanish cobbler believes himself to be Sancho Panza. But yeah, I'd give Lost in La Mancha a watch. Just because it
Okay.
chronicles us.
I'll
Yeah, because I mean, this is Terry Gilliam, right? So, but doing the indie director thing, it shows just how hard it is for indies to really achieve anything of substance in a Hollywood-dominated industry.
Definitely put it on the watch list.
Okay, Martel, are you back with us? Apparently not. Okay, so as not to draw this out too much, for my favorite, I'm going to have to go with Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I love that movie. Really, I think in many ways it's a perfect film. Yeah, you agree?
But it's a good film. I guess it's weird too because I don't regard that as a Gilliam film. I know he directed it. I got it, but it's different enough that it just doesn't seem like him.
Yeah, I know I had to be the oddball and pick the least Gilliam film, but Johnny Depp just nails it as Hunter S. Thompson to the point where he and Thompson became friends until Thompson's death.
Mm-hmm.
And he's played Thompson twice, actually, once in Fear and Loathing and then again in The Rum Diary. And Benicio del Toro's fantastic, so just there's no bad performance. It manages to capture just the frenzied psychedelia of drug trips, the hallucinations, but without being confusing. Gary Busey has a hilarious improvised turn as a traffic cop. It's just fun. It's got some personal nostalgia for me because we were running it at the movie theater I was working at, so I got to watch it a lot. And belated confession, sometimes when I'm supposed to be cleaning theaters, I just duck in and watch it. So sue me. Yeah, so for his full list though, okay, so 1968, Storytime was a short he did. Then in 75, he did Holy Grail. Also 75, another short, Miracle of Flight. And then 77, Jabberwocky, one that Ski Velocity recommended in chat. After that, 1981's Time Bandits. Then 1983, The Meaning of Life, another Python joint. Then The Crimson Permanent Assurance. Then 85, Brazil. 88, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, featuring Sting as a soldier who falls prey to local administrators' Procrustean sensibilities. Then
Wait, is the Crimson Permanent Assurance the one with the pirate ship business buildings?
That's it. That's the one.
Okay, I've seen that one.
What did you think?
You can put that one as my favorite.
Good man. Okay, then in 91, we have The Fisher King with Robin Williams and The Dude. It's an interesting modern-day quest for the Holy Grail. So quite whimsical. 95, 12 Monkeys. 98, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. 2002, another short, The Secret Tournament. 2005, The Brothers Grimm, which I believe was him going a bit more commercial than usual. Tideland in 2005. He did a documentary, Le Coeur de Grand, in 2005, and then The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, Heath Ledger's final movie in 2009. And then a couple of shorts over the next couple of years. The Legend of Holodega and the Holy Family. And then in 2013 he did Zero Theorem, and 2018, The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. Quite a catalog.
Mm-hmm, indeed.
Okay, well... Oh, Well, I wasn't expecting this, but I could use a little more JB for my calculator. So it doesn't look like we'll necessarily be advancing the plot tonight, but that's okay. We have unlimited time. So I'll probably do this fight and then call it, because publisher's work is never done. Much less a writer, editor, and publisher. I'm sure CL understands that.
In my case, it's more just like work never gets done.
It's a black hole. There is no escape. Well, my chemist is going to mop up here.
And the rain is enhancing chemist abilities.
I think it's enhancing thunder spells. Or was that a joke I didn't get? Again, my attention's kind of divided.
Nope. I was just asking if the rain was enhancing. Since you're saying the chemist is going to mop up, I was wondering if the rain was enhancing.
Oh no, it's because there are two undead who die instantly when they're hit with Phoenix Downs, and chemists can throw potions.
Ah, got it.
Hey, you're back.
Yep. Been back for a while.
Awesome.
And nothing is not a good sign. Look,
As it put
Some
it.
work is getting done. Workshop, probably moving back in order, so I can actually make use of my equipment.
Great.
yeah, we missed quite the discussion about 40K.
Oh man, can tell.
We're mostly talking about the busy zone. Right, Armand?
Correct. Excuse me, correct. We were chatting about how the company wasn't exactly benefiting its customers, and how other companies should be able to very quickly move in and take those customers away.
And as far as cultural myths go, actually, tied to that, I think that 40K might wind up being extremely useful, because the lore for that setting is so contentious that fans already have a certain amount of practice with just ignoring the stuff they dislike. And you've been seeing for years people are saying that if Games Workshop's frees up the Empire, I'm just going to ignore everything they do. Which kind of doing already.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think there's enough chatter right now about just saying, okay, whatever edition I'm on, I'm stopping, or I'm going back an edition or something like that. I've got a full set of this edition. I'm going to play this edition.
And lore-wise, really is a shame, because that's one of those pastiche settings that's great because it's unapologetically great. Like orcs and elves in space. And yeah.
But if Star Wars is mythologizing the world War II, post-World War II American order. 40K is mythologizing Christendom.
Yeah. And the Space Marine Imperial Guard lore lets them take all of the best parts from all of the best cultures on Earth and make them. No, it doesn't have to limit itself. It can make them all look good.
By the way, my calculator can now use every single variable.
Nice.
Yep,
That's
just
3, 4, 5 prime.
yep. And level, height, CT, and experience. So I can do any combination of those.
I'm hearing vessel equations. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh, fill me in.
No, they're just making a joke at the beginning about a mathematical death spell. I was commenting with vessel equations. Now that you got everything, it must be vessel equation time.
What's a Bessel equation?
It's a certain mathematical form used to solve certain physical problems.
Oh, okay.
Such as wedding Adam.
I don't know if you can call it split atoms. If I'm not mistaken, it's an aspect of quantum mechanics. I have to go back and take a look.
Ooh, they evened it
Let's
up.
just say if you've got eigenvalues going on, look out, enemies. You're
He's gonna go after the chest.
Is actually my mini printing station I'm trying to get access to right now. So much unpainted blood looking at me.
I know the feeling. Oh, I can't believe that didn't kill him. This one's been a challenge. Here we go.
as an aside. Vessel equation functional uses in the Discord chat.
Thank you.
I think you'll find them suitably boring.
I can think of a few uses for these.
Well, that's good. I think there's at least
So that first
four to five of them that I've used them for.
first example there just sounds like a wave motion cannon to me.
It could well be. It is energy propagation.
Waking vibration of a thin circular acoustic membrane.
Think drum head.
I was thinking eardrum and beaming sound, but
That could be the equivalent to the drum head.
I know we have a few vibration-based, less than lethal weapons, with a number of very unpleasant effects.
is this one right here for whether the cat is a sphere or the cat for the eyes?
Oh, to you mean the radial Schrödinger equation?
Yeah.
It could be thought of that way too. Initially, I thought you were talking about approximating something as a spherical cow.
I love spherical cows, except for all the bubbles in the milk.
Yeah.
The 3 words random harlot. Great job. And a question for Geek God. So,
Go ahead.
more for the main host.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I can't field that one. By that, do you mean for Daddy Warpig?
No, for you.
Okay, well, what's the question? I'm fixated on the screen right now.
Okay.
On the game.
Brawl, Nazi, and Acme Capcom. Story can't be a building. Looks like it could be a Kickstarter question.
Oh, okay. 1 second, let me just take care of this guy. It's down to you and it's down to me. There's a duel going on. Although interestingly, the other skeleton did not revive, so apparently they don't always do that.
Someone turned to first. Is that permanent, by the way?
Yeah. I'm not gonna save after this fight. Like, I really didn't want to get into it. But I just want to kill this guy. He's bugging me. Yeah, now it's personal. Unfortunately,
Punch Art Revive.
yeah, which doesn't kill him, it just does like 40 damage. It's kind of a jib.
I just think it's funny. It's like the D&D healing slap.
Right? It is. I'm still covered in oil, by the way. That's what that little word balloon and dark coloration is. The bombs can do that, and then you take like double fire damage. But he's being careful to stand where I can't use revive on it. That's okay, I'll just beat him to death.
Rather clever.
How's that working out for him? And I'm just going to keep retreating and hitting me with that, but more of attrition, I'm going to win. What's that range 2, buddy? Hey, congratulations. It's the last level you're gonna earn. I don't know why that's doing so low damage. Oh well. Just drown out the inevitable. And we end on a fitting note. What?
Explosions.
I was going to revive the undead to kill him, but it didn't work. So apparently, like, either he's saved against that somehow, or you can't kill it with a revive.
Have you been able to deal killing blows against skeletons with revive before?
No, I've never tried it.
Okay.
Okay, he's finally dead. Yay! Reinhardt is the sole survivor. Because I just stopped caring after Nick. But yeah. Okay. So I think that's going to do it game-wise. Next time we'll get straight into advancing the plot. That'll be on Tuesday. Okay, and well, I've not had time to read your short story yet, because I've been ridiculously swamped trying to get the Combat Frame Exceed RPG ready, in addition to my normal daily work for clients. But I will get that done, and then, yeah, I can tell you the Build-A-Mechs themselves do become canon. Now, making an entire short story canon, we do have a separate perk tier for that. That is a short story commission. Now, it's interesting because you've gone ahead, since you're an author, and written a short story yourself, but just letting you know, we have possibilities. There are a number of ways we can do this. It will all be subject to my approval, however, and the other issue to look at is ownership, which is, since I hold the Combat Frame Exceed IP, I own everything associated with it. So keep that in mind. So, like, if we were going to make a story of yours canon, we'd need to do an assignation of rights contract where you would have to give the rights to me. Because otherwise there are sticky legal implications. So, for example, even though I'm not that big, like George Lucas, at least before he sold to Disney, owned the rights to all the Star Wars novels. So, yeah, that is a lengthy discussion that's too detailed to get into on YouTube. But thanks for bringing it up. Thanks for a nice crash course in IPs. We can look at the rest of chat for any other questions. Okay, looks like we're good. Alright, well, thanks for joining us. I'm going to call it here. For Geek Retrospective, I've been Brian, and my co-hosts have been, in no particular order,
Ferdinand Studios.
So,
Catholic Lancer.
thanks to the Discord panel and everyone joining us live in the YouTube chat. I'd like to remind you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you'll be notified of future Geek Gab content. And join us on Tuesday when we'll be back again, probably at 10 p.m. Central, 8 Pacific. Check out my work in the link below the video. Aforementioned Comet Frame Exceed, Tom Clancy meets Mobile Suit Gundam. And remember,